afternoon, everybody. From this podium, every Wednesday at the same time, from 12 to 1, we hear different stories. Some are inspirational, some are philosophical, some originates here, some leaders from far away, from distant places of the world. Some are very vibrant, and some are persuasive. But there is one common thing to all the stories that we hear. They're all unique in their own ways. And will you agree with me? They're all very unique, right? So today I'm going to share a unique story of mine, which is very special. And it's unique because I have never shared it with anybody else in public. And it's highly personal. And I hope I can send you some message after that or after my speech. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, the story begins in 1926 when my grandpa graduated in law in India. And I don't know whether you know much of the background in Southeast Asia. India was a vast country then. It encompassed Pakistan and now Bangladesh. We were all part of India and they were ruled by British government. There were political unrest, there were very chaos, there were discriminations and riots and things like that. So as a young lawyer, my grandpa had to face many challenges. But as a man of principle, he always stood for righteousness and justice. But he couldn't continue his profession because he found out that being in that profession, he had to lie a lot and he had to then twist a lot. So he changed his profession and he moved on to an academic career and he became a principal of a school, of a village school. I have many heroic stories about my grandpa, but today I'm not here to talk about my grandpa's stories. Today I'm going to talk about someone else, some other heroes of my life, who actually is the second son of mine. I'm sorry, I'm getting a little bit emotional. Who is actually the second son of my grandpa, and he's Mr. Hamid, who is my dad, and so I'll start with that. Why is my dad a hero to me? Little bit of background and family profile. My grandparents had 3 kids. My dad's older brother, he was 8 years older than him, then my dad, and then he had a 6-year-old younger daughter. My grandpa used to live outside in a town because he was practicing law, and my grandma used to live in a village with 3 kids. Ever since my dad found out that ever since my dad grew to learn and understand, he found out that he can never react to his mom. He can never talk to his mom. Why? Because my grandma was mentally ill. When and how, we don't know. She was never treated. There was no such treatment at that time. So it was very devastating. Can you imagine being a 5 or 6-year-old son, finding out that he has a physical mother, but he can't communicate. She doesn't know how to have, she doesn't even know who her children are. So I find it very difficult. I don't know how my dad coped up with that, but it was extremely difficult for his childhood. I can imagine, and I'm sure you can imagine that too. Later on, life went on, and my grandpa remarried, and my dad had to share 8 stepbrothers and sisters with them. And as I said, my grandpa was not in town, so my dad was basically grew up in a parentless environment. Now you may ask, what about my step-grandma? She's resting in, hopefully, in peace in heaven, and I don't want to do offense to her, but she didn't take care of the 10 kids, and I would just put it in there. So my dad was growing like a straggler. He had no hope in life. He had no vision. Nobody directed him in the right path. The only brother he had was going in the right direction, and time to time he would guide him. But he was most of the time with my grandpa in town. So basically in the village, my dad was growing like a weed. He didn't want to study. He didn't want to go to school. He would go, he would tell them that I'm going to school, but he would go fly and doing stuff, going to friend's house or relative's house and sitting or hiding by the aisles. You know, in the farm areas they separate the lands by aisles, so you would hide there. You'd take some salts and peppers and you bring berries. He would pick up berries from neighbor's house and he would just eat there, and he was just having a life with a mother, like a motherless child. And the school that he was going to, it was 6 miles walk from home. So the days he missed the train, it was 6 miles going down there, 6 miles coming back home. It was very hectic, long, arduous day. And when he comes home with an empty stomach, he would find there is no food left for him. Nobody cared to left any food for him. So he would start from the scratch. He would get the raw rice. There is a tool called teki, but they would take the husk of the paddies from that rice, and then he would boil some rice and then eat it. And I'm sure he probably didn't have anything to go with the rice, no curries or nothing. Although my grandparent had decent education, but he had 11 kids to meet the needs, and he couldn't give proper food to everybody for me. I don't think they get me a decent meal per day. Anyways, so when my dad came, he ate, but he always thought like nobody looked after him, nobody waited for him at the house. There was nobody to talk to, so he was just, like I said, he was growing up as a weed. Later on, my grandpa transferred back. He quit his job as a lawyer and he came back to the village, and he became the principal of the same school that my dad went to, but it didn't discipline him. He was so used to that life. He was going in the train, and then the teachers that he were in his class, they were afraid to put a complaint to the principal, and he took full liberty of that. So he was just having a fun life. But then my uncle said, you better study. If you don't study, you are not going to succeed in life, and you are not going to have any meaning of your life, so you better study. But he really didn't care. Then life went on. He grew up to be a young adult. He was 15, 16, and there is a board exam which is equivalent to 10th grade in US system. So he was sitting for that. He got the result. No wonder he passed in 2nd division, which is not good for a science-directed student. But he was happy. He didn't care much. He was happy. Then 2 weeks later, he got a letter, and the letter says, you actually passed in 3rd division. You didn't do good in English. You got a grace point, and that's why your total point, from your total point, we had to deduct some mark, and now you're in 3rd division. He was a little bit disappointed, but he really didn't care. Then life went on, and then after 2 years, he has to sit for higher secondary school exam, which is equivalent to the 12th grade exam here. And this time he didn't pass in 3rd division. He failed, and he was bummed. He was hopeless. His older brother said, I'm not going to support you financially. I have been supporting you. He was helping him a little bit on books and stuff. if you are doing this kind of job, I'm not going to support you anymore. So right at that point, I think he realized. He realized that without good grades, he wouldn't be able to go get admission into good colleges. And he realized that he's not doing good to himself and to his family. So he told his brother, if you don't give me another chance, please. If you see I'm not doing well, I will pay you back. And then he, by the grace of God and his hard workmanship and his willingness to do well and his perseverance and his patience, he actually passed the exam in first division next time. And after that, he never had to look back. He saw the light in himself. He saw the future. He saw the brightness. He saw God is looking after him. So life just paid him back. He was very successful. He moved on to his higher studies. He did his dissertation in Australia. Can you imagine someone who failed, who got base points in English and failed in English? He went on higher studies in Australia. He was very successful as a professional in his professional career. He was a mechanical engineer. He had 33 years of professional career in shipbuilding, boat building, stockyard shipbuilding, and he managed thousands of workers, blue-collar workers who worked under him in those building those ships and docks, and he was very sympathetic to them. He knew his background. He never forgot his background. He was negotiating with them, and he dealt with many entrepreneurs, delegates, his union leaders. As we brought up, we saw so many times he was forced to be in his office until he agrees to the terms and conditions with his unions. Those were the experience in our life that we grew up with. He was also very successful in his personal life. He is a great traveler. He wrote books. He was a great mentor. He used to teach us math. He was very good in math. And I must tell you this one story. I know I'm running out of time, but I have to tell you. Me and my sister were studying math with him, and being so patient, he was telling us a new concept, and we were not getting it. He told us once, we were not getting it. He told us twice, we were not getting it. Then I saw that me and my sister were crying because he was patiently telling us, but never losing his mind. He never lost his mind for us, but he was patiently telling us what was that concept. And we were crying in tears to see his patience. So that's my dad. And I think, he didn't get a mother, but he was so successful. Later on, I got my mother, and she was behind all of our success. We are 4 brothers and sisters, and I think we all are somewhat successful in our life, and that was for my mother and father. So he's the hero. He's my hero. And the lesson that I'm going to tell you is that never stop believing in yourself. By your hard work, perseverance, and patience, you will always succeed. If God is there and you do hard work, you will always succeed. Please always believe in yourself. You don't know what your potential is. With that, thank you very much. Bye.